Hi, this is Lisa from Monarch Butterfly Land Saving Society. I wanted to just talk a little bit about the animals and how special they are to my nonprofit and all the people that I've been working with on being extra special and sweet and caretaking, taking a caretaking attitude toward the animals. I know we always accepted that animals were extinct. Many animal species were extinct. They lived in zoos, they were hunted, they didn't really have access to as much food when the redwood forests were cut down. When we put pesticides on all our farm food, where did they actually find food for themselves? Things like that. We didn't treat the animals with too much thought. And with my work with trying to help the deserts, and I thought about it, I realized the flora, the vegetation and flowers and the fauna, the animals are totally intertwined and they work together. So to bring back the vegetation and flora, we had to work on the animals and bringing them back. So every bit of the program for the last year has been about taking care of the animals, thinking even of the littlest insects, the littlest bugs and grasshoppers, on up to frogs and snakes and grasslands, and insects do so much to cleanse soil, up to the gophers who bury under the soils, the birds, what the migratory birds does. And through all that study I learned amazing things. And one of the things I realized is that I stopped eating animals because I felt like I had in my backyard all these animals coming. When I started putting out the food, there were ducks, 2 ducks that laid eggs here and seemed to be nesting here, and they're gonna have babies here, and they created a nest. And I have gophers that come all the time. And then I started reading up on being a vegetarian, and they said there's a difference between eating something that's animate, like me talking right now, alive, or an animal that's running is animate, or inanimate, and inanimate are vegetables and fruits and things like nuts and potatoes. That's inanimate. It doesn't run, doesn't walk, it doesn't smile, it doesn't have a face. So I think I decided I wouldn't eat any more animate beings, and the more I thought about it, the more I realized that if you eat something animate, when you're animate, it means you move. Animate means having energy from the sun and the light and the weather and your home and your sleep and your friends. And then all of a sudden, if someone eats you, you have to give up on all your friends, your light, your exercise, your moving, your breathing, everything that's special to life. So an animate being, I don't think should be eaten. I think it's cannibalism to eat people, and it's cannibalism to eat an animal. And also, when you eat animals, I think you get really unhealthy. They say vegetarians live longer, are healthier. Animals eat the stuff off the ground, and people really might not do well eating animals. The more I read about them, I think that they talk about cholesterol and fat and hardening of the arteries. It all goes back to having a fatty diet. Eating an animal, you eat their fat. They're infused with a lot of fat and oil. We're totally different. Man is different than, say, an animal. We're both animate, but they're, I think, more dense than we are. It just, the more I thought about it, the more I felt it wasn't a good match. Of course, that's completely up to the individual. But what I really wanted to say is that when I was a nurse for a while, one of the things that they do all the time, the first thing you do when you go into a doctor's appointment to check your health is check your blood pressure and to see how hard your heart has to pump and how hard your metabolism has to work to make all the nutrients and the flow of nutrients and moisture and nutrition flow through your body, through a cycle in your body. Much like in the earth, there's a water cycle. Everything flows because your heart pumps everything through your lungs, through your veins, from your fingers to your toes. It pumps your water, your fluid, your nutrients, your blood, everything. It carries it through. If the heart has to pump really hard, you have high blood pressure, and then your body is working so hard just to pump your nutrition, it's hard to get up and even have regular exercise. People who have high blood pressure don't have as much have more trouble breathing, have more trouble moving, have more trouble getting through the day, have more trouble having exercise. Lighter people who have lower blood pressure can run, they can jump, they have much more fluidity, much more animate kind of life, more light-hearted. And I think that when you eat animals, you become denser and your blood pressure is higher and there's cholesterol and it builds the fat, and that a lot of people die because they get hardening around the arteries, the bodies of older people. Plenty of times you see them, they get very hard. You see maybe big stomachs or big legs, but or even small, and they have a hardening. I think it's from eating animals. They have cartilage, they have all kinds of things that go into your body. In a way, you become a graveyard for an animal, and an animal doesn't deserve that. And your own body, in a way, suffers, I think, by putting an animate being in it that wants to live at home with its family instead of in your home. And I think that it really isn't healthy because it makes your blood uh, travel much harder and your heart pump much harder to push all your nutrients through. And you drink a lot of fluid and you eat vegetables and fruit and the inanimate things, and you're not hurting anything. You're much lighter and your heart doesn't have to work as hard. So learning from being a nurse, knowing that that blood pressure affects your longevity. Lower blood pressure comes when you eat, I think, inanimate things. Higher blood pressure and pumping harder, and then shortening your lifespan comes from eating the things that are animate, that make it hard for you to move because you have something in you that's alive that in a way doesn't want to be there. And in a way, your waste is worse because you're eating something that I don't think is proper for the human physique. I think people would live a lot longer. And also the program of Monarch Butterfly would be more holistic and more of a true system if people who partook of it tried to eat less animals. I think it would be healthier. I hope you like this talk. I know it's off the subject. Just thought I'd try something new.